Hello! Hello, hello, hello. It is Tuesday. I just had this really awkward moment in my head where I was like, it might be Monday, it might be Wednesday, I'm not really sure. It was very uncomfortable in my little brain. So I'm just going to check that we are live, or that I'm live. Yay! Which I'm very excited about. It feels like it's been forever, even though it was only yesterday that was live. So when you get here, let me know that you're live. Hit the little emoji button, which always entertains me, and obviously say hello, because there we go, got to turn the ringtone down. That's Heather Gray messaging me, voxering me and saying, warning, snort laugh likely. So okay, let's get digging into the topic of mastery. Yeah, there we go, I am live. Dun, dun, dun. See, technology is getting harder, I swear to God. Like, it used to be really, really easy to go live, and now it keeps kicking me off like every 5 seconds, which drives me bonkers. Okay, so, when you're here, say hello, let me know, throw an emoji, your favourite one. Not the vomit one. Is there a vomit emoji yet? Somebody said this to me the other day. I think it was actually Sam's dad. It was like, I feel like there should be a vomit emoji. I can't even say why he would think that it's okay to vomit all over my posts to Sam on his birthday, but it is. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about mastery. If you know that there is somebody who would want to catch this, but who isn't currently here, please make sure you tag them and let them know so that they can watch it too. Hey Tina, how are you, my love? I'm still having this weird thing where comments are like, they don't automatically show up on my phone, so I'm like having to watch the laptop and the phone. And then as soon as I swipe, it works again. I don't know whether anyone else is experiencing that. Obviously Facebook are doing some massive changes at the moment, so that is potentially why. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about mastery, and has anybody listened to the podcast episode this week? If you haven't, there is a great little snippet in there of me telling you the hugely embarrassing story of the time that I met a really fairly famous and well-known person in the toilet. We both went for a wee, obviously, because we're in the toilet, and then we came out, and there was this awkward moment where we're like, do we shake hands? We've washed them. Is it okay? Like, how awkward is it? And instead of just being silent about this, instead of just being like, keep it in your head, Jess, don't say anything, I was like, oh God, this is so awkward. I mean, we just weed. Why did I say that? Who knows? Who knows? It was painfully awkward and quite frankly terrifying. But anyway, that's my toilet story for today. If you haven't listened to the podcast, go and check it out because it's a fairly hilarious episode. But what I really want to dig into today is the topic of mastery. I've been on calls pretty much all day long, and I have some fantabulous clients. I love how everyone's finding my toilet story hilarious. But I have some amazing clients, and they're doing amazing things in the world. And one of the questions that I often get asked by new clients who are really looking to make a stamp on the world, who are looking to make a huge impact, and who are looking to increase their income is, why, like, what do I need to do? How many things do I need to do? I need to be everywhere. They have this immediate feeling. And so last week we did the challenge, which was all about streamlining everything. But when I've been on calls this week and I keep hearing this, what can I do more of? How can I be everywhere? Who can I tell? It kind of reminds me of Youpreneur and going there. So hands up, who feels good? After the challenge last week, who has kind of streamlined and is feeling pretty good about that? You should be feeling epic. I feel great. I don't know about anyone else, but usually it comes around to Black Friday and I get like 20,000 emails in my inbox every day that's like, I've got a Black Friday deal on, and everyone has a Black Friday deal, and sometimes the sales pitch is really good, so I want to buy all of them. But this year, because I streamlined last week, I've seen maybe two or three, and it's been great. Liz, I love it, especially as you won. Whoop, whoop. So I was kind of thinking about it this morning, because we've just done all the streamlining, and I was thinking back to my time at Youpreneur, because I'm putting together an audio of all of the keynotes for the Dotties. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, what is the one thing that really all of those people have in common? So they had some phenomenal speakers. We had John Lee Dumas, we had Pat Flynn, Carrie Green, Janet Murray, lots and lots and lots of well-known and really intelligent entrepreneurs who are making multi-six figures, seven figures and more in their businesses. And another Dottie's perk. There are all the Dottie's perks. Dottie's discounts, Dottie's perks, the event stuff that's coming out on Thursday. I just had the email signing off the event, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, Dottie's are going to hear all about that in the next couple of days. So the one thing that really stood out to me at Youpreneur was not the fact that they were everywhere. Wasn't the fact that these people started with huge social media strategies. It wasn't the fact that they were well-known household names in the beginning, or that they had all of their shit together. It was really that they took the time to truly master their area of expertise, their message, the platform that they wanted to use and excel on, and their sales pitch, right? So we had all of these phenomenal entrepreneurs up there, and they were masters in their industry. And that was really exciting for me, because one of the things I don't think we often see online is mastery being perpetuated as something that is necessary. We often see people who are kind of like, yeah, this week I'm going to be a business coach because business coaches make a ton of money, and then next week I'm going to be a health coach because maybe they make a ton of money, and then the week after that I'm going to be something else and something else and something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with changing your niche, right? There's nothing wrong with doing something and realizing, oh, actually I hate that and I just want to do something else. But when you're consistently jumping from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, whether it's your niche, whether it's the way that you deliver content, so whether it's jumping from Facebook Lives to podcasting, to vlogging, to blogging, to whatever the new kids thing is on the block, Snapchatting, I don't know any others. I don't know any others. Or whether it's your message, whether every 5 minutes your message is changing. Maybe one day, you're really preaching ease and flow, and then you're preaching hustle. That constant jumping means that you never get a time to master the skill. So I was looking into this because obviously, sales geek, numbers geek, statistics lover over here, and the general statistic is that you have to spend 7,000 hours learning something, doing something, practicing something in order to become a master at it, right? 7,000 hours, that's quite a lot. And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, I'm going to do some maths, which I was going to do on my phone, but can't now, so bear with me while I pull up my calculator. Now, I worked for 10 years in corporate sales. So let's say 10 years, there's 52 weeks in a year. You don't actually work 52, you work 38 generally, with holiday, bank holidays, that kind of thing. But for most people in the US, you're going to be working between 45 and 47 hours a week. So if we take that to 40 weeks in a year, times 5, because there are 5 days, times 8 hours in a day, it's about 1,600, right? 1,600 hours doing the same thing, day in, day out, like every week. So when you have a corporate job, or when you have prior experience, actually, you are mastering that skill. Whether it's sales, marketing, design, PR, whatever that is, you are spending so much time doing it that you are mastering that skill. And by working in the corporate environment, they're always spending a ton of money giving you learning and development tools, right? I used to love this. When I was in corporate, my company would be like, Jess, do you want to sit this exam? And everyone else would be like, no, exams are boring. And I'd be like, yeah, woohoo, pay more money for me to learn more stuff. And then when I leave and go somewhere else, they'll pay me a ton of money because I have all this stuff you just bought for me. Very mercenary way of thinking about it, but really that's kind of how corporate worked out for me. Exactly, Liz, about consistency. Love that. Hey, Susan. I haven't seen you in what feels like forever. Like, our last catch-up was amazing. But yeah, so that old chestnut about 7,000 hours to master a skill. And then it got me thinking about the online space. and how much time we really dedicate to mastering the skill here, and how many people actually walk into the online space and they go, oh God, I've got to master something all over again, right? And that was really sad for me, because I looked at all these people on the stage at Youpreneur, and I looked at, you know, Johnny Dumas, who'd been in the army, and that didn't work out in the way he expected, and then he'd gone into like corporate finance and lots of different things that just didn't really feel good for him. And then he set up a business. At no point during his talk did he go, yeah, I had all of these years of experience with like leadership and, you know, developing my skills and developing my marketing abilities and working in finance and metrics and this kind of thing. And so when I came back into the entrepreneurial world, I just kind of forgot about it and just was like, oh God, I'm going to pay my dues all over again. And Joanna Penn, New York Times bestselling author, right? She wrote a ton of epic fiction books. And actually, I've started downloading them on the Kindle. She has a bundle deal available for... I'm like, available for Black Friday. She does actually have this bundle deal, which is very, very cool. And I've been reading her fiction voraciously over the weekend. And so she did that. But at no point did she dismiss the fact that she could write when she came into the, okay, I'm going to slightly pivot because all these people are asking me how I've been so successful with writing books, publishing them, marketing them, hitting the bestseller list. She didn't just kind of go, oh, well, maybe I'll just kind of step back and hope that people realise that I'm really good, right? She came in, she was like, I am a phenomenal fiction writer who has hit the New York Times bestseller list, which means I'm great. Here's what I know about it, okay? I love it. Mastery takes practice. I love this. I'm like, yeah. I bloody well did forget all about my knowledge when I came online. I'm now owning my knowledge, skills and experience. Exactly. And this is the thing. It really bugged me when I went to Youpreneur, because I kept thinking, right? Oh, every 5 minutes I just go, oh God. And I was watching all these people, and these people on the stage, a lot of them are earning a lot more than I am. And there are some of them who aren't, because it's not about income, but it's about that kind of brain thing where something just clicks and you go, oh yeah, maybe I'm not working at the top of my ability. Maybe I'm not owning the fact that actually I've got a ton of skills and a wealth of experience to bring to the table. And I kind of felt like that. So for anybody who does have that feeling every so often, just know, happens to all of us consistently, right? Doesn't change. And I kept thinking, I was like, oh God, I do have a lot of experience. And I don't often talk about it because, you know, British, humble pie, modest, unless it comes to, you know, hilarious things like my karaoke ability, which, phenomenal. And it kind of made me think about, well, what am I not telling people? The other thing that it made me think was, oh, this online space. Sometimes it can be really, really tricky, right? Does anybody else find this, where you look at somebody, and I look at Chris Ducker. Had no idea who he was before the event. I told him that at the event when I met him. He signed my book, it was great, it's all lovely. He's like, Jess, how's the event going? You really enjoying yourself? You pumped? I was like, yeah, I was really surprised actually. And he's like, oh, why? And I'm like, because I had no idea who you were. And yeah, that went down like sack shit. I'm joking. He was actually very nice about it. But I was surprised because I'd never heard of him before. I literally just seen this Facebook ad one day and I was like, oh, an event in the UK and it has these people, I'm going. And the thing for me was that when I started looking at these people, I started seeing them everywhere. Like in the run up to the event, all I could see was people talking about Chris Ducker and his new book that's coming out next year. And I was like, oh my God, he's really famous. And then all I started seeing was everyone talking about Janet Murray. And I'm like, oh God, yeah. I mean, I knew she was great with PR, but I didn't know how many people in my audience that were also talking to her. And I kept seeing these names again and again and again. And obviously we're more predisposed to seeing them. Once we're excited about something, once we've got it in our head, we see it everywhere. But it made me feel like these people were omnipresent, right? I love that. 38 reasons I'm awesome. Oh, I might have to do one of those. Is it like, do you have to do them, I don't know, is it specifically 38 or can I do like, I don't know, 20? Like maybe I'll skip that. But yeah, so it made me kind of feel like these people were omnipresent. They were everywhere. They were on Facebook, they were on Instagram, I was seeing them over Twitter, you know, they were all over the place. And I kept feeling quite overwhelmed because I was like, well, how are they everywhere? And it wasn't until I went to Youpreneur that I realised they just did the same as me. They mastered one platform. And I was like, oh. And it genuinely gave me that sigh of relief where you think, oh, I'm doing it right. And so I went along, and they were really, really strategic about what they did. So obviously JLD was like, well, I've got a podcast. And everyone told me that I couldn't do a daily podcast. But actually, I knew that there was in the market room for somebody to podcast every day with great entrepreneurs who were changing the world. And even though all of my mentors said, nah, you won't be able to do it, it'll be too much work. He's now sat here, 1,800 episodes later, over 500,000 subscribers. 500,000! I'm like, Jesus, I was really happy last month. I got like 2,000. He's got 500,000 subscribers. And he's a multi-millionaire, right? He's making, I think, $800,000 in a month or something. It's phenomenal. And all he said was, well, I podcast. Hey, Amanda, how are you, love? I enjoyed talking to you today. I've got stuff on my list from you later. And all he said was, well, I mastered podcasting. That was his thing. He mastered the podcast. And then when we dug down into everybody's social media strategy, it was like, well, you know, I'm an introvert. Joanna Penn said this brilliant. She's like, I'm an introvert. I don't really do social media. And I was like, oh my God, you are my spirit animal. And she said, I don't really do social media. And so for her, she was very much focused on building community around her books, focused on her email list. JLD focused on the podcast and his podcasting community. Amy Schmittauer had this fantastic YouTube channel, and all of her community is based on YouTube. And so when the question came up, awkwardly in the toilet, and I said, you know, sometimes it's really hard to be an entrepreneur because we have to be everywhere all the time and we're like permanently switched on. And she said to me, well, you don't. She's like, it's all about repurposing. It's all about being strategic with your content. And I was like, yeah. And you know when you've heard something a million times, you're like, yeah, I know that. You don't know. Because if you say, yeah, I know, it usually means that, yeah, I know that, I just don't want to do it. That's how I take it anyway. I'm always like, I say, yeah, but no. And it was funny because I talk about repurposing all the time, but I'm not a master of it. You know, for years, I've been putting out I've been very consistent, but I've been putting out original content on different platforms consistently all of the time. And that's really hard. It's not sustainable. And so all of this time, you know, I sit there and I go, oh, well, I really loved blogging. And then I did it loads and I just kind of don't want to do it anymore. And, you know, I really loved vlogging, and then I realised, you know, makeup, batching content, all of these things I intensely disliked. I love that we've got so many introverts. I'm really like that, but I just don't like being on social media. It's very uncomfortable. And I just saw all these things I'd kind of not burnt out from, but it was almost like I'd done them, and I got bored, and so I just kind of stopped. But I always stopped right at the point where I was about to master them. And that was the interesting thing. If somebody had gone to Johnny Dumas 3 months into setting up a podcast that he's running every single day, I don't think he'd have turned around to you and said, oh yeah, well, don't worry, because in 10 years' time it's going to make me 800 grand a month and I'm going to be one of the best known people on the planet in the entrepreneurial space. He'd have been like, oh man, this blows. This sucks because I'm trying to find guests, I'm not that well known yet, I'm trying to build a following. Exactly like everybody in this group. Exactly like everybody when they first start. Exactly like me when I first started out. Exactly like me in year 1, year 2, and year 3. Because it's not about doing something for the sake of doing. And that's what I really realised at Youpreneur. You know, it really is about mastering something for the greater, I was going to say the greater good, but that's a really bad like Harry Potter quote that Voldemort uses. So I'm kind of not feeling that, but you have to have this deeper why. And the whole point of mastery is that you want to be able to master a topic that is going to connect to that deeper why later, right? So people like me, we master sales because wealthy people change the world, right? I firmly believe that wealthy women, in the words of Denise Duffield Thomas, will change the world. Whether it's, politically, whether it's in terms of helping charities, whether it's donating to different causes, educating women in the third world, like whatever that looks like, wealthy women will change the world. But it's not just about them making money. And this is the thing with sales, it's really hard to explain this because the outcomes of sales are that we make a ton of cash, and that's great, right? But also the outcome of sales is confidence. It's empowerment. When somebody buys your product or service or program, you feel amazing because you say, oh, I've got it. I can help people. They trust me. And that makes you feel confident. And when you're confident, you can be happy, empowered, you can make a ton of money if you want to, you can have this huge impact on the world. And so back, 12 years ago when I started in sales, I didn't realise that. Because back then I hadn't mastered it. So I was kind of like, yeah, well, sales is just, it's going to lead to my commission check at the end of the month. Sales is paying my rent on time. Mostly. Sales is being able to go out for drinks with people and, have lots of banter. Because that is what the sales world's like. Lots of drinking, lots of bantering, lots of fake smoking. And then once I put the hours in, once I'd really mastered the skill, once I'd realised that actually the sales world, just like any other, was not going to get me to that 6 figures a year OTE that I was promised on the day that I signed up for that contract, it was about mastering the skill. I had to learn it first. I had to practice it daily. I had to do continuous learning and development. And then, once I was doing that, once I was demonstrating that, not when I got perfect, because I'm not, but once I was demonstrating that stuff, that I was continuously learning, developing, that I was really interested in the craft behind selling, that I really did have a true interest in how relationships worked, in client-centric selling, in relationship-based marketing, people started coming to me. Not because I was the best salesperson on the planet. Because I'm not. I wasn't then. I'm not now. I never will be. Because growth, change, sales strategies change. Different people resonate with different things, And unlike the Wolf of Wall Street, I'm kind of not happy to sell out of integrity because it's just gross for me. But what I found was the more I showed people how interested I was in something, that I was genuinely looking to master the skill, that I was going to be in the game for a long time, rather than just one of these people who hopped on the scene, made a bit of money, and then just kind of was like, ugh, no, 2 years, I'm done, I don't want to be a manager, I don't want to help other people. People started coming to me. That's when I started getting headhunted by consultancies. That's when I started working with multi-million-dollar corporations. That's when I started signing the big deals. That's when I started getting headhunted. That's when people asked me to come in and, go to different organisations. That's when my company effectively pimped me out and said, yeah, just pay a day rate for Jess. We'll let you have her for a couple of days and you pay us this extortionate amount of money and we'll pay her peanuts. Hey, I was like 22 and living in London. I needed all the help I could get. But it was about mastery. It was about exhibiting that desire to master a skill that got me clients. And then when I started my business, again, it was the same thing. I really wanted to master the online business space. I didn't know how. I didn't have any followers. I had a social media account that had about 100 people on it. I had Facebook, and not a lot of my friends used Facebook, and when they did, they were just kind of talking about how their boyfriend broke up with them, and it was all the he said, she said stuff. There was nobody who was using it to generate revenue. right? Everyone was just kind of like, hey, look at the Saturday night pictures of us really, really wasted. If you look at any of my profile pictures from 2011, that's what they all are. And, you know, that's it. But I had this really deep desire to master online business. How do I set up a business that works? You know, and that was my first thought. How do I set up a business that makes money? And then once I started making money, it was, okay, well, how do I master a business that makes 5k a month consistently? And then 10k. And then 20k. And so I went up income levels, and then I looked at, okay, well, how do I run a business that masters the element of community? And how do I, you know, master an online business that manages group programs and recurring revenue and bringing in outside resources? All of those things I had to learn about, you know, and it's something that doesn't change in the course of your business. But what I see is so many people who they want to master something. So perhaps you're already an expert in your field, you've got tons of corporate experience, but because you haven't mastered social media yet, you're not maybe getting all the clients you want. So after a couple of weeks, you're like, no, fuck it, Facebook isn't working for me. So I'm going to go and do Periscope, I'm going to do Instagram, I'm going to do LinkedIn. And then after another 2 weeks, well, that didn't work, so I'm going to go and do the other thing and the other thing and the other thing. And people just aren't giving it enough time to work, you know. And that was the one real big thing that I picked up from Youpreneur, was it's not about the sexy business model, because there are lots of sexy business models. I know lots and lots of people who teach lots of different amazing things, and they're all different and they're all great. And if you use them strategically and sensibly, they will all work. But they don't work for some people, and it's the people who give up, right? It's the people who go, oh, quick fix, magic pill, gonna do it. And I do it with the best of intentions. I bought a blogging course, I don't know, 7 weeks ago. There's a great blogging course, came recommended by Amy Lynn Andrews, and I was like, love Amy Lynn Andrews, love her blogging stuff, love her emails, I'm gonna buy that. And I bought it, and do you know what I've done with it? Nothing. Because I didn't really want to master the skill of blogging, right? I wanted to grow a bigger audience. Actually though, turns out blogging, like anything, is a lot of work. And actually I have a lot more fun with my podcast. So blogging can wait. Does this make sense? Does everybody understand where I'm going with this? Or am I just rambling? The thing is, mastery is huge when it comes to our businesses. And it's also the scariest part of creating a business, because mastery is the thing that genuinely does take time. Okay, going back to what I said in the beginning, these people at Youpreneur had mastered their skill, the platform of choice, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, their message, what they wanted to say and who to, and how they sold. They'd mastered all of those 4 things, but I was looking at the end product. You know, I was looking at JLD 10 years into his business, looking at Amy Schmittauer like 5 years into hers, Carrie Green 10 years into hers, you know. And this is the thing, we're always looking at other people's finished products, right? And comparing them and going, well, if I'm doing webinars once a month and Amy Porterfield is making 500k on her webinars, then mine must be crap because I'm only making 2. And then we stop. We go and do something else. We go, okay, fine. Russell Brunson has got 50,000 users for ClickFunnels, making millions. I'm going to go and use ClickFunnels. I'm going to be affiliate for that. And then a couple of weeks later, actually, your audience isn't big enough, and it's a bit of a struggle, and it's a bit of a faff, and it can be a nightmare. So you go and choose something else. It's not about looking at the skill that you've mastered and where you are on the journey. It's about genuinely having a desire to master something continuously, to keep going when it's hard, to choose a platform that works for you, to choose a message that works for you, to choose a skill that works for you. You know, I get a lot of clients, and, you know, lots of you will resonate with this. You get a client, they become your client, you teach them lots of great stuff, and then they really want to teach what you've just taught them, and you're like, master it first. Give it a couple of months, practice, then do it, then teach it. Don't just teach theory, because theory it's actually really, really hard to teach people when you can't troubleshoot, right? And this is what I want people to focus on. It's not so much a let's teach you all the things. It's more about you really, really need to be mastering your area of expertise and showing people that you actually want to continue doing that you care about that thing. You know, streamlining your processes, streamlining everything in your business so that you really do hone down and go, where am I going to focus? What on? Who to? What's my message going to be? Once you've got those things nailed, it's actually very, very easy, but it's not about following the crowd, right? I love it, Susan. So much to learn. How to stay focused on what's going to move the needle for your own business, but also what you're interested in learning. Exactly. Like, this is the thing. Messenger bots. I love messenger bots. I could go into a little room all day and just use messenger bots. But they're not going to move that needle on my business that much quicker when it comes to Facebook. Because I'm really fortunate. We've got a highly engaged Facebook group. I've got, you know, lots of people that interact with me in the community. So messenger bots, I get a really high open rate, but we're not doing anything with them as a growth tool right now. And, you know, people always say, oh, you're missing a trick. And I'm like, no, in my business I'm not, because that isn't where I'm focused. I'm always somebody who's been like, PR. PR is my focus. The podcast is my focus. Those are the communities that I really want to build that tight-knit, or in that tight-knit way that I've done with the Facebook group, and build those places out so that there are lots of different people interacting and giving value and giving opinions and sharing ideas and discussing interesting things. For me, the thing I really want to master that moves my business forward exponentially is connection, community, cash. Those things are the things that move my business forward. For somebody else who, you know, isn't interested in Facebook groups, Sam Barefoot, for example, phenomenal example, right? She is an epic client of mine. She is phenomenally talented when it comes to Instagram, and she hates Facebook, right? So she's got a little Facebook group. I say little, it's got quite a few people in there. Sorry, Sam. But she's got a Facebook group, and earlier this year, she was like, I don't want Facebook groups to be my main focus. I want it to be Instagram. And so in like 3 months, she created an account that went from 0 to 10,000 followers in 3 months because her focus was Instagram. It was generating money in its first week because focus, mastery, consistency, right? Ah, thanks, love. I adore you. But it's the same for everybody. And even Jen Hall said this. Jen Hall is one of my favourite ever clients, right? She's in my mastermind. And she said this to me today. She said, what you focus on grows. And we laughed about it. Because we were like, that was so woo. And we both loved it. And she said it, you know, what you focus on grows, and it's true. You know, she's been really focusing on certain areas of her business at the moment, not for long periods of time, but they're already growing. They're already being monetized. And this is what it's all about. It's not about you finding the next big thing. It's not about you jumping onto the next big platform. It's about you going, where do I actually enjoy showing up? What feels good for me? What do I enjoy? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be surrounded by? And how am I going to engage with those people? And it's really interesting because if we look at the what I call the Facebook world over the last 3 years, everyone's tried to emulate, right? Everyone's wanting these huge Facebook groups, 10k, 20k Facebook groups. That's what everyone seems to be looking for. But my Facebook group is less than 2k. And my business has a huge annual turnover. And a lot of that has been from Facebook, from the group. Is it necessary to have 10k in your group? Is it necessary to have 20,000 people? No. It's about the focus you have. If your focus is on the metric, if your focus is on how many people can I have in my community, that's going to grow. If your focus is on how many connections, how many relationships can I build, that's what's going to change. And ultimately, neither of those are wrong, right? Some people will focus on numbers and they'll make money. Some people will focus on connections and make money. Some people will focus, you know, on both and won't make a thing. Because it's not about trying to do everything all at once, right? It's really, really about mastering that one thing. My one thing is connections. I love building relationships. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy getting to know people. I'm insanely loyal. And so for me, when I build a relationship with somebody, it's always long term. It's always, I genuinely like that person. I would go and have a bag of crisps and a coffee with them. Glamorous as my life is, I would willingly help them out if they were sad. That's what my relationships are built on. Do I trust them? Do I think that they can do the things they say they can? Am I interested in them? Are they fun to be around? Do I want to spend time with them? Equally, when I was in corporate, we used to focus on numbers. How many cold calls can you do in a week? And if you did 20 hours on the phone, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to be making 5-10 grand of deals a week, because that was how they were able to measure it, right? Exactly, you'd like be able to remember people, so you'd hate being a number. And this is the thing, it really does come down to personal preference, but it is about mastery. So that's what I want everyone to focus on this week. If you're not sure how to grow your business, or if you're thinking, actually, I'm at a bit of an income plateau, or I'm terrified about Black Friday because everyone's bringing out offers and I'm kind of like, oh shit, what do I put together? If that's worrying you, go back to basics. What are you the master at? Where do you want to be the master? Which platform is going to be the right fit for you? Because honestly, I love that season. Yeah, JLD was saying it. 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep. Right? Exactly it. But you've got to choose which platform is right for you, because your clients are everywhere. We're in an age where everybody has a phone glued to their hands 24/7. And part of the joy and also the nightmare of having a smartphone is that you can access on that one smartphone Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Periscope, everything on that one device. So your clients are everywhere. Every single place you could ever imagine. It's not about anymore going, oh yeah, well, everyone's on Facebook. Facebook owns like 90% of social media platforms now. Facebook's bought everything. Facebook's bought WhatsApp, it's bought Instagram. It's everywhere. It's like insatiable growth. So it doesn't matter if you don't identify with Facebook anymore. Be like Sam, go and set up an Instagram account. She just set up a YouTube account. They got 3,200 views on one video after a week. Like, you can go anywhere. You can speak to anyone. There are ideal clients in your local hairdressers, in your local pub, at networking events, podcasting, YouTubing, Facebooking, Instagramming, tweeting, the lot. But you're not going to know unless you put concerted time and effort and care into one platform, one message. Just realised it looked like I'm swearing at everyone. I'm like, awkward. One platform, one message, ideal client, and that's it. Mastering those things. Right? So that's all I wanted to pop in and say today. But that really stood out as a key takeaway for me from Youpreneur, was that idea of mastery. And in all honesty, I came back from Youpreneur and I made this massive list of things that I'm doing. Met one in my local clothes shop. I love it. I came back from Youpreneur and I looked at it and I thought, what are the things that I've given a go over the last 3 years that I haven't actually mastered, that I just gave up on? I gave up on because I just couldn't be bothered anymore, because it got a bit difficult, or because I wasn't really seeing the traction that I wanted quick enough. Right? Most things. And it genuinely is most things. But the things that I've really worked at, that I've stuck at, PR, the podcast has been incredible over the last couple of months. It's brand new. It's monetizing already. Woohoo. It's getting subscribers. Great. It's delivering value to my community. Awesome. But there are so many other things I did and I just gave up on because I didn't master them and I couldn't be bothered to repurpose correctly. Don't make the same mistake as I did, because when I came back I was like, shit, like all this stuff I could have done, and everyone sat there and like, yeah, I've read this book and I did this thing, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to do that. Oh, I wanted a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, I had one. And people would say, oh, what's yours? And I'd be like, well, I had one, but Had it for 2 weeks and then I just didn't really do anything with it after that because I couldn't be bothered to brush my hair. So maybe it wasn't the right platform for me, right? But it does go to show that really it's not about having your eggs in one basket. It's really about, okay, let's master one platform and then let's do another, okay? Now, if you are looking at repurposing, I just got this cool tool called Repurpose. Don't know whether anyone's heard of it. I'll put the link in here for you so you can go and check it out. But I just got this cool tool that repurposes Facebook Lives onto YouTube and Facebook into Instagram and podcasts into YouTube videos. It's insanely cool. I'll put the tool up because it is awesome if you haven't seen the link already. But it's a really wicked little tool, and I've been doing it with the podcast. I've been putting the podcast onto YouTube. And it just does it automatically, so I don't have to worry about it. And do you know what? Someone found it the other day and they emailed me. They were like, oh my God, I love your podcast. I didn't know it was a thing until I saw it on YouTube. And I was like, yes. So it does go to show, right? You can master one thing. I can master the podcast, but I can repurpose in a way that means people can find it elsewhere, right? Mastery. When you say mastery, is this specifically procuring sales from that platform? So yeah, in terms of platform, then yes, eventually you do want to be getting sales from it because that's where you're going to be spending the majority of your time. So most people start on Facebook. Perfectly normal. And do you know why most people find online business stuff on Facebook? We'll get targeted with ads, right? I ended up in the online world because Jessica Nazarali put a Facebook ad up one day and I saw it and she had a similar background to me and I was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. 6 months later realised that I was like, oh, seeing the end of her journey. And it was a lot harder than I anticipated. But, you know, most people do find people on Facebook to start with. So most people master Facebook first, and that's why we have this huge kind of this huge influx of groups, because everyone's starting with groups and then, you know, everyone's moving outwards and doing different things. But in all honesty, it's about you finding the right platform for you where you want to share your message day in, day out, because that's what's going to make you money, right? It's not about teaching people the technical, and I'm going to do a live on this next week because I think it's really important that we move away from teaching people the technical. And by the technical, I mean teaching them every single skill you've ever learned, because I'll go into it on the live, but there are reasons why you shouldn't do that or why you wouldn't want to do that. And it's not just because they're not going to pay you, but ultimately it's about sharing your message day in, day out, consistently on one platform that you like showing up on, you know, that you actually enjoy having chats to people on, that you enjoy building a community in, that works around your life and isn't infringing on it. You know, so if you have set up a Facebook group, for example, and you're in there every day and all you're doing is firefighting, and you feel overwhelmed or you feel stuck or paralyzed because you're like, oh God, I've got to be in there all the time, and if I'm not in there then people will be upset. It's not to say it's not the right platform for you, but it means that you might need to set better boundaries, right? Does that make sense? So it's really about mastering the platform in a way that works well for your messaging, positions you in front of your ideal client, and ultimately does make you sales. Okay, hopefully that helps. Let me know. So I've got this really weird thing. So I've not been very well over the weekend, and you can see because my ears go really red. And I'm just noticing, I'm like, my ears are so hot. And it's just because as my temperature rises, my ears are the first things that get warm. There we go. Embarrassing Jess anecdote for the day. But if anyone has any questions on this, so if you have any questions about mastery, if you have any questions about how you can master your own niche, your audience, your platform, your message, pop them in the comments, because I'm always happy to help. I'm here right now, so I am, you know, here and available to help. But even if you get nothing from this live, please, please, please go away and answer those questions. What area do I really want to master? What platform do I want to master? Where do I want to share my message? What message am I mastering? You know, ask yourself those things, because those will be the business game changers. You know, those are my business game changers right now. I'm literally sat in front of my sheet that is like, okay, 2018, what do I want to master? Where do I want to be? Right? Who do I want to serve? It's always about going back to basics. It's always about looking at what lights me up, what am I happy to do continuous professional learning development in, and what am I going to bring to my audience? Where am I going to do that? Right? Awesome. Hey Liz, how are you, my love? Emma, this is what I was talking to my client about yesterday, not swaying to advice. I use words of staying in her path rather than getting dragged off into other people's paths. Exactly. This is the thing, you know, in corporate, people say it to me all the time, you've got to stay in your own lane. And I never really understood it because, you know, it's really easy when you're watching other people be successful to go, oh, there's something easier about the way they're doing it. Right? And I used to do this. When I first went into corporate sales, we had a few different teams. And I was tasked with setting up the public sector and not-for-profit team. And everyone told me, it's going to be crap, right? You're going to have really low fees, you're not going to be able to sell anything, they won't want anything, people will be a nightmare, there'll be loads of red tape. And I sat there at my desk every day, and I was calling these people, because I was cold calling, like, do you want help with this solution? Be banging the phones all day and get nothing. And I'd be watching my colleagues, and they'd sit there on their desks with financial services, something really sexy. You know, this is at the time when the recession was not happening, and they were firing off these calls. They'd be like, yeah, deal close, deal close, deal close, deal close. And I'd be sat there like sobbing into my cup of soup thinking, I'm going to get fired. And my boss kept saying to me, stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane. And it took about 3 months. You know, we had people leaving because they were just like, I just can't hack it. It's horrible coming in here every day and watching everybody else be really successful and I can't. And after 3 months, it really picked up. Instead of getting like 1 or 2 deals, we were getting 10, 15, steady, steady, steady. A year later, we were the top performing team for that company in London. Not because public sector had tons of money, not because charities had tons of money, but because we'd spent a year building relationships. We'd mastered our networks. We knew everyone, while everyone else was picking up the phone doing the easy things, using their existing relationships and not building new ones. We were out there. We knew every person, we knew every piece of technology, we knew what was going on, we knew how we were going to build new relationships, we knew who was handing over, we knew who was moving, we had all the bits and bobs, right? And so a year later, we're making £500,000 a quarter, you know. It took us a year. But that's right, Liz. Persistence pays. And this is the thing, this is what we don't often see in the online world, is that it is about persistence. You know, it's not just about rocking up. Yes, you can. If you work your backside off, and I really did, and this is not about, actually I should rephrase that, it's not about working your backside off, because a lot of people in here, and a lot of people I've seen online, work their asses off. Really, really hard in the first 6 months of their business, in the first year of their business, in the first 3 years of their business, and they don't achieve the financial success they want. It's not because they're not working hard. It's because they're not staying in their own lane. They're looking at what everyone else is doing, and they're going, I'll do a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. And there's no clear focus. And when there's no clear focus, when there's no clear way to master a specific area or message, it makes it really hard for us to be successful there. Because yes, we have to go through that initial 3 months of pain, we have to go through the initial 3 months of rejection, and oh, this is tough, and this is a slog, and this is hard, and we're not making the money that we necessarily want to be making. But once you've actually focused on that mastery of the message, the platform, who you're delivering to, what you're delivering, it floods in and it pays dividends for years and years and years. You know, I've had people in my community who've been there from the first year of my business. You know, I'm still in contact with my first ever client. You know, we still talk. I've hired people into my team that have known my business for 2.5 years. It's those kinds of things that really make a difference, and it's because it pays off in dividends. Alright? Go share. Hello, my love. Is this your first live with me? I'm like, welcome to your first live. You're live. Yay. With Jess. Options to work with me. The new ones are coming out on Thursday. Okay, so they'll be in the group on Thursday. There's going to be some interesting intensive options, there'll be some group stuff, and there's obviously the membership site, the Dotties as well. So look out for that on Thursday, and if you'd like me to tag you, I absolutely can. You can check it out, no pressure, and see exactly what I'm doing and see what I'm implementing in my business in 2018. Ah, thank you, Amanda. Goodbye, shiny objects. Exactly, right? And this is the thing. So last parting note from me is, off the back of the challenge next week, think about what you are implementing in your business for the long term, okay? Think about what you're implementing for the long term. For me, like I was saying to you earlier in the week, and I'm going to be releasing this in December, I'm going to be talking about my key focuses for 2018, but for me, I'm really going to be looking at podcast, PR, events, right? So those are going to be my key areas of focus, because I haven't been able to focus on them specifically as much as I want to this year. The podcast because it's new, PR because I was working with the amazing Dina, and now I'm going to be working with the amazing Amanda. I wasn't able to focus on it as much as I wanted to. I needed to do other things. I needed to build teams, right? I needed to build some frameworks, long-term projects. As a result of this year, I've built an incredible team who've been amazing. They've supported me wholeheartedly. They've built systems and structures and things for long-term success. And so, yeah, actually, financially, it's been an expensive year. We've invested in a lot of things. But that means that 2018 is going to be phenomenal, because the customer experience we have now is so much better, you know, even that it was 6 months ago. You know, it means that everyone is responded to, everyone is heard. It's not just me who's having to pick up emails, it's not just me who's bumbling away on technology. Everyone's getting the best experience, and it's leaving me free to do the things that I'm good at, which is teaching, training, helping you guys, giving value, right? That's the important thing. So what is your key focus going to be for 2018? Is it going to be mastering Facebook, mastering PR, mastering building a community, mastering going out there and actually getting clients from LinkedIn, you know, mastering speaking events, mastering blogging, you know, mastering consistency? Yeah? I want to know what it is. It might not pop up for you right now, but let me know, because I would love to hear what you are going to be focusing on in 2018, because for me, podcasts, PR, speaking. Those are going to be my new areas of mastery. That's going to be how I want to deliver my message in 2018. I'm still going to be in the Facebook group, obviously. I want to be in here. I love this community. I love building it. But those are going to be the new things that I'm going to work on for the long term growth of my company. All right? Emma, you need to join the Dotties. Look at Emma's pimping out the Dotties. It is an amazing space. Absolutely, of course I will tag you. So as soon as those come out on Thursday, I will make sure that I tag you. And obviously what I'll do, guys, as well, is I'll pop in the link for Repurpose, which is the tool that we're using to repurpose the podcast to YouTube. And you can use it to repurpose your Facebook Lives to YouTube as well. It's very, very cool. Yeah, really, really cool little piece of kit. Speaking, I'm about to release deets for the event in February, so the Dotties are seeing that at the end of the week as well. I've just had the email back confirming our Prosecco, because of course it wouldn't be an event of Jess's without Prosecco or elderflower fizz. I was actually inspired earlier by somebody in the Dotties who mentioned elderflower fizz, and I was like, oh, because we have some people who don't want to drink Prosecco, babies, that kind of thing. So there will be a non-Prosecco option for those of you who aren't thinking about drinking that day. But yes, speakers are going to be announced very soon. The event is going to be announced in the Dotties in a couple of days, and you guys will get options to tickets first, and then it will be announced in here, and you guys will get access to tickets before it goes out to my email list and podcast and all those kinds of places. But yeah, alright, so that'll be end of February. Very excited. Alright then, my loves, have a wonderful, wonderful afternoons, evenings, mornings, wherever you are in the world. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. If you're catching the replay and you think, oh, I want to know more about XYZ, pop it in the comments. I will come back in and be checking the comments and answering questions there as well. Sorry, that's my mum calling. When you talk to your mum every day, you don't call her for a couple of hours, she freaks. The Dotties is better than Disneyland. I would agree. That's because I'm not a big fan of roller coasters. But yeah, if you do have any questions, if there is anything you need from me, obviously let me know in the comments. I will come back in. I will be checking here. And then later this week, we've got some really, really cool stuff coming in here. So please make sure that your group notifications are on. Check out for some cool posts in the group about some of the other things I learned from Youpreneur last weekend. And I will see you in the group and when I'm announcing my brand new spanking services on Thursday, which I'm actually really excited about. Not doing a Black Friday sale, but I am doing something cool that really won't cost much. So yeah, if you're interested in Black Friday, check out Thursday. I will see you there. Have fun, my loves.